So in today's lesson, we're going to look at the physical and chemical changes and properties of compounds and of mixtures and things like that. So first off, you should get a pink sheet of paper from your bin. We're going to take our piece of paper and we're going to fold it in half like a hot dog. So this way, okay? Okay, so it'll be the long way, not like a hamburger, like a hot dog. So take a minute to do that. Next, you're going to need 4 flaps. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors, like so, and you're just going to cut up until the fold. You only want to cut 1/2 of the paper. So you see how I've cut mine and I still have a full sheet and then I have a flap. Okay, so you want to cut 4 flaps. You don't want to number them. We're going to write something on them, but we want to make 4 flaps, just like so. Okay. On our first flap, you're going to write on the outside physical property. Okay, so on the outside, right here, write physical property. And then lift your flap up. You're going to write the definition on the back of the top flap. So a physical property is a characteristic observed or measured without changing the composition. Often you can use your senses, smell, sight, hearing, taste, touch, to determine your physical property. Second, on the second flap, you're going to write on the outside chemical property, just like you do on the first. And you're going to flip it open, and on the back, you're going to write this definition. It's the ability of a substance to undergo a specific chemical change. Okay? Property words are descriptive words. So you'll hear a descriptive word, an adjective, usually. Okay. Third is a physical change. So you're going to put that on the outside third flap. Underneath, on the back of that flap, you're going to write, it's a change in matter that does not alter the chemical composition of the matter. So you're changing maybe the appearance of your item, but you're actually not changing what the item is. And your fourth flap, you're going to put chemical change, and underneath that, you're going to write on the back of the flap, a change in which a substance or substances is changed into one or more new substances. Pretty much a chemical change is making something new. Okay? A physical change, you are having the same thing, it just looks different. A chemical change is you're making something new. So underneath flap 1, on the bottom part right here, okay, so here's my flap, okay, physical property on the front, definition on the top. On the bottom, we're going to talk about some examples. So some examples of physical property are color, if it's soluble or insoluble, which means can it dissolve in a liquid? How does it taste? At what point does it freeze? At what temperature will it boil? At what temperature will it melt? Its density, which we're going to look at density later next week. Its magnetism, can it attract or repel things? Its mass, what does it weigh? Its volatility, so how react or explosive could it be? Its odor, what does it smell like? Its hardness, is it soft? Is it hard? Viscosity is a thickness. The best way to explain viscosity is it's like syrup. Okay, syrup has a thick viscosity and water has a thin viscosity. Okay, think about how putting your hand through both. Texture, how does it feel? Is it opaque or transparent, or is it in between? Does it have luster? Is it shiny? Okay, is it dull? Conductivity. Will it conduct heat? Meaning if you put it on something hot, will it get hot? Will it conduct electricity? Like, for instance, a golf club. That's why you don't go golfing in the rain. And then volume, okay, the shape that it's taking up. Under flap 2, chemical property, some examples include flammable or non-flammable, meaning can it catch on fire and stay on fire? Reactive or unreactive, meaning if I put it with something, will it do something or will it just sit there? Corrosive or non-corrosive, that is, especially with acids, will it eat away at something, okay? Now, most people think of acids eating away at skin, but will it eat away at like metal, things like that? pH, which we're gonna learn about later, is it acidic? Is it basic? Okay, or is it neutral? Combustible or non-combustible. Can you set it on fire? And then biodegradable or non-biodegradable. Will it break down over time naturally, or will it just sit in a landfill? All right, 3, physical change. Like I said, physical property and chemical properties are descriptive words, okay? Shiny, thick, transparent, okay? Non-flammable, okay? Corrosive, basic, those are descriptive words. Our physical changes are going to be nouns. They're going to, or sorry, not nouns, verbs. They're going to be action words, okay? They're going to be doing something. So some of them include dissolve, melt, freeze, condense, boil, sublime, which means you go from a solid to a gas without stopping at the liquid phase, split, absorb like a sponge, evaporate, inflate like a tire, crack like an eggshell, crush like you do with the soda can, break, okay, like you break glass, distill, so you can distill water to make it like it's a filter, which is the next word, filter. Shred, you can tear a piece of paper. So those are words. The item itself stays the same, it just changes its shape, okay? If you dissolve sugar in water, there's still sugar in water, okay? If you melt an ice cube, it's still water, okay? If you split a banana, it's still a banana, okay? If you shred paper, it's still paper. So they didn't change what they were, they just looked different. And then finally, a chemical change. So some examples of this include decomposition, baking, because you're making something new. If I put eggs, flour, sugar together, I can make a cake. That's a different thing. Developing film, corroding, combusting, reacting, rust. Okay, if you rust something, it makes something new. Food spoiling or sour because the the chemical composition has changed. Growth. Neutralization is when you take an acid and a base and you make it in the middle. Rotting. Okay, think about a tree breaking down. Digestion. Okay, think about what you had for breakfast this morning. Okay, an acid is helping to break that down into molecules, macromolecules, if you remember from biology, for your body to use. Electrolysis. Okay, that's using electricity. Oxidation and reduction, we're going to learn a little bit about those in chemical reactions. If you see gas being liberated, and this happens without heating, so you see a gas coming off and you haven't heated it. If you see light, okay. If your thing starts to feel hot, okay, that's the evolution of light and evolution of heat. Caramelization, okay, you're changing the composition, and any new change that forms a new substance. So a chemical change is different than a physical change because we're making something new. So always remember that if you make something new, you've gone through a chemical change. If you have the same substance but it looks different, you have a physical change. If you have a verb or an action word, you're going through a change. If you have a descriptive word, then that's the property.